We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this particular transmission being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all viewers, all participants to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very heart, being, and soul. We are here this evening, this day, this morning, wherever it may be of your time, to elaborate on great changes that are taking place upon your planet. That you have already experienced a very wild roller coaster ride, as this conduit has put it, in regards to 2014, the year of unfoldment. And the reason why it has been called the year of unfoldment is because all of the ideas are now being put on the table. You have now reached yourself into a point of what you would know as a culmination period, where many different innovations, where many different inventions, with many of these ideas are now being placed upon the table, ready to be integrated. And that is what 2015 is all about. It is about the idea of reinventing yourselves through the innovations that have been placed throughout the year of 2014, to where this will affect all levels of your consciousness. From what you would know as your own personal levels, from what you would know as your own economic levels, your educational levels, your political levels, all levels that apply. There will be certain passings of celestial events that will be taking place around the year of 2015 that are basically, in that sense, helping to stir this proverbial pot. This will represent the idea of, in that sense, of certain forms of comets and asteroids that are coming within your star system around the local neighborhood area of your planet Earth that will allow certain shifts within your magnetic spectrum, that will allow these forms of energies to become more prominent within your reality. There is nothing in that sense to which you would understand as severely impacting or catastrophic in that way that we can sense that is coming through 2015. And even more than that, there really is no form of major worldwide catastrophe that's coming toward any of you anytime soon in regards to the state of absolute momentum. The momentum right now is representing, yes, some rocky paths. There are some terrains here that may be somewhat unsettling. But basically, this is all part and parcel of the effect of you generating a mass effect. The mass effect is all about an inertia. It is all about a momentum. And that as you continue to ride this stream forward through 2015, well into 2020, 2020 will be the accomplishment point to where you reach the top of one particular mountain. Now, you will then move down the mountain and up a bigger one that will move into culmination approximately around the year of 2050. So around these 30-year gap between 2020 and 2050, you will be moving up a much larger form of mountain that has more for you. The mountain of 2020 will simply be looked at as a very small hill in comparison to the Mount Everest that is coming within the year of 2050. So again, we will focus more on 2015 to 2020. 2015, the year of integration, you will notice that there will be certain forms of inventions that are looking to have the opportunity to show themselves representative of the replacement of your own natural power on your planet. Now, this is already happening more and more. There are many different constructs that are coming forward. Many have already asked about the idea of about free energy that is coming upon your planet. Is it possible that we will have free energy? Is it possible that these particular devices that may be in the reflection of someone like Nikola Tesla to actually bring these types of energetics into being, will these become a large reflection into your year of 2015? It will certainly be talked about, but it will not be implemented. The closest form in regards to what you would know as your, shall we say, energy of the West will function more so into the idea of what you would know as your solar, your tidal, and your wind energy. There are also other particular plans in the making relating to that of geothermal plants. But the whole idea is that there will be more retaliation in regards to the areas of your own North American western area of your planet representing nuclear power plants and their demand for immediate shutdown. And this will be happening more and more and more. There will also be other particular forms of innovations within your own medical science relating to the idea of laser and crystalline technology. Now, again, this will not be bare, as it were, but it simply will represent the idea that certain laser forms of technologies, crystalline forms of technologies that are embodied into your standard interfaces of medical practices will become much more outspoken, which will become much more available to many of you in regards to, shall we say, overshadowing the idea of your typical forms of medical and pharmaceutical industries. There will be more people who understand more of the quantum level of mechanics in regards to medicine. Now, again, these people already do exist. They are already quite prominent within your Western hemisphere of your planet. But they will become much more identified as many of the news sources that are taking place upon your planet through your year of unfoldment are now starting to get a much more stronger momentum in regards to popularity and publicity. And so you will discover that there will be these particular forms of medical devices that basically work within the quantum fields that will allow certain forms of repair to take place in regards to, shall we say, self-discovery, self-implementation. These quantum particular devices can also be what you would know as biofeedback, but they also represent certain forms of laser-based qualities, again, crystalline-based technologies as well, too. A step up from what you would know as your common quantum biofeedback. So there will be certain forms of innovations and integrations within many of your different establishments medically throughout your areas of Canada, the United States, Mexico, etc. So again, more of these particular forms are popping up. They have been wanting to pop up for quite some time, but it is basically allowing the collective consciousness to reach a certain point where these energies in that sense are now applicable to the idea of looking at it much more in-depthly, having a second look, a much more deeper look. And so these will be very common practices in regards to your alternative medical fields. Some of you may be wondering in that sense about your own political campaigns, about what we can expect in 2015, 2016, relating to the idea of the flow of political agendas. The whole idea is that much of your own collective consciousness is not being fooled that much anymore in regards to the idea of your political systems. The whole aspect is that many of you feel very hopeful relating to the idea of having someone, shall we say, voted for within your time of 2016 in regards to how this will take place. That particular arrangement will be taking another form. There will be a version in regards to another particular type of political campaign, as it were, that will be following up within your fall of 2016. You have already been very familiar, many of you, we are certain, relating to the idea of a conduit that you have referred to as Bashar, that has stated that approximately through the year of the fall of 2016, everything will change. That is correct, as we have already confirmed this also. Again, this has to do with a multitude of many different forms occurring upon your planet at once, through the idea of what you would know as celestial passings, through what you would know as monetary state redevelopment, through what you would know as political transformation, through what you would know as unification happening on many different educational levels, through the idea of everything that you feel would represent the idea of exchange upon your planet is now starting to become brewed within the pot. The whole idea is that many of you are attempting to recreate or reboot the idea of a monetary structure between the years of 2015 and 2020. Yes, this is something that is in the works, but it must be nurtured appropriately. It is not a sudden impact. It is not a quantum leap in regards to your own monetary exchanges. We want to share with many of you that there are a lot of transformations happening between these next 5 years, between 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Within these particular years themselves, that is going to take place. That is going to happen. So the whole idea here is that everything relating to transformation needs to be nurtured. It's taking one step at a time and being able to walk forward, not feeling that you can leap 20 feet in the air and go to the other side of the cliff that is far, far in distance. So the whole idea here is that, yes, this is going to happen. There will be changes in your political agendas. There will be changes in your own monetary systems. There will be change in educational formats. Many different forms of educations in that sense are now going to start breaching away from the idea of your atypical forms of public schooling and moving more into alternatives. Community-based schooling, online-based schooling, other particular forms of private alternative institutions. Fractal group thinking at universities, which represents, again, a very, very small amount of, shall we say, presence in that way. But this is basically representing the idea that there are no students, that there are no teachers. There are only facilitators and participants, those who are able to share the commonalities, the common fundamentals relating to education, relating to development, relating to skill sets, that are basically open to the idea of a group mind mentality. This will not become much more in effect prominently until your year of approximately 2025. But right now, it is starting to make its peak, as it were. So 2015 representing the idea of the year of integration, that you will notice that you are moving into much more intense examples of what the collective consciousness is doing as it shifts itself into a metamorphosis of a much more extended mirror. There will be more intensities relating to the small pockets of your planet representing war. Because what is happening right now is more so of education, educating those responsible who are continuing to attack one another, to realize that it's no longer necessary. So there will be certain forms of campaigns that will be taking place in regards to educational formats pertaining to your own alternative media that are assisting further in the reducing of these particular wars. The only way these wars are going to absolutely cease is when there is enough education freely available to realize that war is no longer the answer. That's the key. It is not about picketing. It is not about the idea of saying stop the war, stop the war, stop the war. It's more so on the idea of looking into the people that are responsible for the wars to where they feel that they are doing a service and realizing more of their own disservice. This will come through the idea of functioning campaigns, outreach and outsource centers that will allow themselves to have some type of impact, again, through your media, through many different alternative channels, and through the idea of more mass meditation groups that are occurring upon your planet, to actually being able to sift highly the heat that has been brought forward upon this planet relating to the idea of violence, relating to the idea of poverty, relating to the idea of immense suffering. The more that there can be this particular education, showing others that through communication, that through meditation, that through intention, and that processing that through the interpretation of action is what is going to cool the planet down. This is basically what's happening, of why there is so much fighting, because there is so much extremes happening within your physical reality right now that have reached the crossing point after December 21st, 2012, that many of you are very, very afraid about what is coming. Right now, you don't have a deadline. Right now, you do not have something on a global level that says, on this year, this is going to take place. You're past that now. You are past the lines of ancient prophecy. You are past the lines of feeling that there must be some type of due date that is being brought forward to your collective consciousness. The mass effect is working together symbiotically with the planet to allow this upliftment to occur. You are shifting into different layers of higher dimensional qualities each and every single day that you exist. You are noticing more and more about how reality is much more intensely and intimately, symbiotically reflective with you. And so again, throughout these years of 2015 to 2020, you will start to notice much more of an intensity with this. You will also start to notice that become much more popular in your own society is the power of consciousness. it will actually be, as you would call it, quite hip, quite trendy to become quite expansive in mind, to become into meditation, to become into consciousness expansive techniques, to look into the idea of these forms that assist in your health, of looking into the power of the now, into the reinforcement of positive energy. This will start to greatly attain itself into a much more higher platform throughout these particular years. This is wonderful news to report, because many of your form of culture right now are not so dismayed to the idea of looking into the power of their own consciousness. They are becoming curious about it. They are asking questions. It is no longer about the bland degree of modern science to where consciousness has no role within the equation whatsoever. That is starting to be discussed a lot more. That is starting to move much more into many different panel discussions, into many different orientations of different educational systems throughout your planet. Understand that many of the innovation leaders, if we were to look at countries on your planet, function together with three particular types: Russia, China, India. These are the three particular countries that are beginning very intense innovations that will allow the reshaping of consciousness together on your planet, that will then spread to the West, and that will then spread the tendrils throughout all other areas of the countries together. Russia, China, and India. You can also look into the idea of what you would often refer to as the BRICS alliance. These particular countries that have not been mentioned are also in association with this transformation, this innovation taking place. The whole idea is that as they start to show more of the innovations through themselves, what they are becoming, for example, the world will follow suit. The whole idea in regards to the diminishing of many of your wars will begin with the country that you would know as Russia. These are all just happening because you are looking more into the idea of how negotiation is becoming more prominent, that you will see through the enactments of this country and in other countries that follow to the idea of what you would know as the BRICS alliance. You'll understand how many other countries are now signing on to the idea of this particular type of alliance to end the idea of what you would know as your wars, your poverty, your environmental chaos. All of that is now starting to subside, and by the year of 2020, you will start to see how there will be certain technological innovations to cleaning your air, to purifying your air, to cleaning your water, to allowing certain forms of environmental rehabilitation to take effect. And here's the biggest kicker of them all. The newest inventions that will be based upon your planet will come through your youth, not through your elders. We will repeat that again. The newest forms of inventions, of innovations that will be coming upon your planet that will be responsible for making this shift in regards to the cleanliness of your planet, in regards to this rehabilitation, will come from your youth, not from your elders. So basically what is happening is that there are certain forms of children that have already been programmed with a certain form of synthesis of codes that have been relayed technologically through them, throughout their own birthing upon this planet, to where they are already committed to transforming these devices into solid reality, to helping you to clean up your oceans, to helping you to create the idea of reinventing yourselves, to replenish your planet through its nature, through its air, through its water, looking more so into the idea of organic housing as well. This will start to become more prominent. There will be certain issues that will also come up around this time relating to your over-sensualization, as it were, of technology. The whole idea is that many of you will look more deeper into the idea of the common effects of technology on your planet to see how many of them are trance-inducing, and that many of you in that sense are becoming much more mindful of this. It will start to play itself out a little bit more throughout the years, but understand that around this 5-year span, this is what's going to create the idea of moving into the innovation of looking into technology that you know is causing harm, regardless if it is minute or if it is major, to allowing yourself to look into more of the synthesis of other degrees of technology that work together in assistance as tools. So not feeling that every single day you are being spent upon your social media, or every single day that the internet has a grasp upon you. It is more so in the idea of looking into the innovations about how nature itself is your living internet. And that there are certain people upon your planet right now that have received such amazing guidance pertaining to how nature can benefit you, that it is a transformational opportunity for others to look into nature to actually access information rather than your internet. We are not stating that your internet is looking to be abolished or that you are feeling any particular form of dismay from it, but it is more so looking into the idea about how the energies of nature can serve you in so many different ways, as this is the living internet, the matrix itself. One moment. And so, nature is the course to allowing yourselves to move into the alignment of what you truly wish to achieve through your life. 2015, 2016, yes, we'll have some very intense forerunning aspects of yourselves to look at. You are going to see much more of an intense society. 2016 and 2017 will be of the ultimate culmination of this particular form of fusion, of this incredible voltage relating to the transformations upon your planet, to where 2018, 2019, and 2020 will represent the bridge to take all this immense surging tidal wave of energy and allow itself to spread itself out. We would liken it to the idea as if you were to have a small cut piece of bread and are placing a very large slab of butter in the center. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 represent the placement upon this butter on this piece of bread. Taking that butter knife, 2018, 2019, 2020, spreading it alongside the bread. That would be the best form of analogy that we can give. 2018, 2019, 2020, you will be looking at a very different type of Earth. You are looking at different forms of innovations in regards to creativity, in regards to transformational educational platforms, in regards to innovations of political agendas that are now complementary to the collective, rather than the idea of the service of higher and the misuse of lower. So these will start to take impact much more further. There may be the common question that between 2015 and 2020, will there be a much more larger scale of extraterrestrial disclosure? There will be certain opportunities that in areas of your planet, certain forms of contacts will be taking place that will become much more prominent. You will start to notice that the personalized experiences of many will become much more prominent in this way. In fact, if you were able to take a survey at the time of 2020 between these next 5 years, you may discover that the majority of people upon your planet have had some type of contact, that they just may not be very familiar about what it is. It may just be symbolized as a dream. It may just be something they feel is imagination. Nonetheless, they have had contact, and you will notice that the majority of them will start to come forward a much deal further in a much more heightened capacity. We're not saying that the idea of mass global contact is not possible. It's just very unlikely in regards to the years of 2015 to 2020. This must be handled very, very carefully. We understand how many of you would like to have a very large global first contact where all of the capital nations across your planet are now having extraterrestrial conveyances placed upon their lawns and saying, "Greetings, humans, here we are." That is not to say that that will not happen. It will just not really happen in regards to the feeling of momentum between your years of 2015 to 2020. However, there will be certain sightings that will be taking place upon that time. There will be certain celestial events that will pique your curiosity further to realizing the idea that around this time, many of you upon the planet will realize that you are not alone in the universe, and that you are realizing that Earth is becoming much more prominently visited. You will actually be able to discover that through many different events that are taking place, that are helping to shape much of your planet around this time, that many of these innovations that are taking place were actually implemented in regards to behind-the-scenes intervention with extraterrestrial cultures. This is representing the idea of what you would consider to be your new leadership campaigns, are actually in many different ways through different countries across your world being worked upon behind the scenes through the cooperation of extraterrestrial civilizations. This will start to become much more noticeable to the one who becomes mindful and looking into the mechanics of the situation. This is taking place. This is happening. There are many different civilizations that are communicating with many of your particular world leaders on a common level, on a very, very frequent basis. You will also start to notice that there will be very strong curiosities representing the discovery of underground and underwater installations that are that of extraterrestrial origin that will occur around this 5-year to 6-year span. You will also understand that there will again be much more spacecraft, a lot more sightings within your sky that are basically attempting to spell out messages. That the particular orientation and formatting of these particular forms of spacecraft are basically creating what you would know as a type of crop circle in the sky. We would ask you to watch for this. This will become apparent within this 5 to 6 year span. So again, there is much to look forward to between 2015 and 2020. We realized that we could spend a great deal of time sharing with you certain forms of innovations, understandings, and amazing results of transformations pertaining to the energies that you all individually are contributing to allow this collective goal to be attained. What we can state most positively is that your world is on the up and up. It is moving into higher transitions of being. It is moving into different forms of shifts. You are noticing that there may even be certain forms of celestial forms of material, of anomalies that are occurring around your solar system. This is correct. So again, there is a great deal to look forward to. Again, we could go on for many hours of your time to give you more, shall we say, understandings of information, of insight that have a momentum to come. What we were attempting to do here right now is giving you a somewhat larger nutshell for you to evaluate through yourselves. Please do not just take our word for this. Take a look at everything that we have shared and being able to discern through yourself what you feel is important to you. It is not our duty, as it were, to do such a thing. We are only showing you opportunities that are on the horizon. We are showing you innovations that are in the works, and it is all up to you to decide exactly how you wish to take this information. This is not the gospel. This is not written in stone, but these are certain forms of inertias to where we feel most likely many of you will be moving into the momentum of the mass effect, 2015 to 2020, where the mass of your populace is now moving into the breach period where your love becomes saturated all over the planet. This is where you're going. It will be a very, very exciting time for many of you that are upon the planet right now to allowing yourselves to see how much the world is changing. When you see extremes happening collectively, many of you will instantly feel, oh my goodness, what's happening? We're all going to die. No. All of the extremes in our particular perspectives are a wonderful thing to see, because this is basically telling you that through the grandest state of extreme that comes forward into your collective consciousness, there will be an equal and opposite reaction in regards to that extreme that will bring it into balance. You are not experiencing a new world order. That has never, ever been the case. You are past that idea. Many of you still feel that there may be some type of governmental control here, that there may be something going on behind the scenes to where we will all be instituted into a new world order. Pardon us for saying, but that's what you've been going through for thousands of years, and it's not new. It is all part of the idea that you're moving into a new world integration. You're moving into the aspect of that. You have already been part of such a system for thousands and thousands of years, since your time of Atlantis. That was the idea of a new world order that had collapsed, Risen with certain empires, collapsed again. Risen with another empire, collapsed again. Risen with another empire, collapsed again. Why do you think they continue to collapse? Because the idea of these new world orders are not sustaining. They are self-destructive. They have a self-destruct button that is just being reached closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to until it is finally pressed, and then poof. The civilization that represents the tyranny of that energy collapses. This will simply be the idea where you are cushioned to the idea of seeing this foundation in regards to many of these systems that would love to create a new world order, who are not going to be able to. And while they collapse, you will therefore be cushioned, and allowing the forms of this cushioning to represent grassroots innovations, to looking at the idea of people-powered facilities, people-powered foundations that will start to rise to where the ashes of the old paradigms fall. There has never, ever, 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 ever been a successful new world order ever on your planet. Ever. We want to make sure that you are very, very aware of this. That's not where your society is going anymore. You have tipped the scale to where light itself is attempting to bring you up to this very large mountain. By 2020, you will start to reach its summit. By 2050, you will go down this mountain and you will go up an even larger mountain that will represent the Mount Everest to a hill. That is where you are going collectively. Please, 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 for the sake of your benefit, do not concern yourself about the feeling of the implementation of a new world order. That is not the agenda, and that has not been the agenda in regards to the state of allowance to the times that this innovation of what you would know as the baby boomers to where you are right now, the post-atomic era into the current era, that has never been your agenda. So again, look into what serves you rather than what doesn't. If you continue to play the games of extremes, you are only seeing how the drama dominates your reality to where you feel helpless because you are feeling completely disempowered with yourself. You do not understand the mechanisms about what the reflections are attempting to tell you. It is the creator being overwhelmed by all the reflections that they're able to see that they themselves were responsible for creating in the first place. So be very, very mindful in regards to all the energies that you are playing with that represent extremes. Again, this flows back to your standard physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And this is where you are going collectively to allow the extremes of what no longer serves you into what does. And as you start to implement this and begin to bring positive reinforcement into all of these extremes, you reach a neutral balance because this becomes natural to you. That's how vibratory physics works. That's how you all operate. You're only looking at your mirror reflections. There's nothing else to look at. So be very aware of how you place your energy in regards to the state of the allure of your melodrama upon your planet. We thank you for the opportunity of this interaction, and we will now take a moment and allow the form of question and answers to take effect here throughout this particular channeling event this day of your time. We will now return to the conduit as we now adjust and prepare for the questions that are to come. Thank you.